Okay, fourth grade friends, we're going to continue our journey into conversion charts using various forms of measurement. And this is lesson 3 of module 7. I'm using the homework page. You're using your practice page. We're just going to be looking at it. Just like I did yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and start with the conversion chart at the bottom because that's going to help us with being math detectives and finding our other answers. So this one is hours and minutes. How many minutes are in 1 hour? Well, there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So the rule for this conversion chart is going to be times 60. So in 2 hours, there would be 2 times 60, which is 120 minutes. In 5 hours, there would be 300 minutes because it would be 5 times 60 is equal to 300. 9 times 60 would be 540 minutes, and 12 times 60 would be 720. Now remember, if you don't have that memorized in your head, you would just say 12 times 60, and you would figure that out as a math problem, and it would be equivalent. All right, so looking at the next one, we have days and hours, and I know that there are 24 hours in 1 day. So the rule on this conversion chart is going to be multiplying it by 24. So in 1 day, there are 24 hours. 1 times 24 is 24. In 3 days, 3 times 24 is 72 hours. 6 times 24, again, I would just take 24 and multiply it by 6. And I'm going to end up with 144 hours. And in 8 times 24 is 192 hours, and 20 times 24 is 480 hours. So I've done my conversion chart now, and I'm going to go up to this very first story problem, word problem up here, and it says to use the redraw right method. So Jeffrey practiced his drums from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. How many minutes? So I'm going to be converting into minutes, but this is going to tell me hours. So I know on the number line, these are my hours. And I know that between here and here, there is 60 minutes in between each one of these. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start Jeffrey on hour number 4 for 4 o'clock, and he went all the way to 7 o'clock. So that's 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. So in that 3 hours, if every hour is worth 60 minutes, then I would say 3 hours times 60 minutes, the amount of minutes that he practiced was 180 minutes because there are 60 minutes in each hour. So I went 60 plus 60 plus 60, or 3 times 60, and that's 180 minutes. Now, Isla used the computer for 5 hours over the weekend. So how many minutes did she spend on the computer? Well, if she did 5 hours, so if I started her at 0 and I go to 5, I'm going to use green for her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She would have 5 hours, and that 5 hours times, and again, I'm looking for minutes, times 60 minutes in each hour is going to give me 300 minutes on the computer. So she actually spent quite a bit of time on the computer. Now, I actually wrote the conversion up here, but at the bottom it said the rule for converting hours to minutes would be times 60, and the rule for converting days to hours would be times 24. I find it more helpful to put it up at the front as I'm multiplying them. So now as I look at the next page, I'm going to look at the top, and I'm going to again be a math detective. I've got 10 hours and 30 minutes, and they want me to convert the whole thing into minutes. So I know that there are 60 minutes in each hour, and I've got 10 of those. So I've got 10 times 60 is going to be 600 minutes for this 10 hours. So that's 600 minutes. Plus another 30 minutes is going to give me 630 minutes. Now, 4 days and 20 hours, I know that there are 24 hours in a day, and there are 4 days right here. So I would say that 24 hours times 4 days is going to give me 96 hours in those 4 days. So I have 96 hours plus another 20 hours is going to give me 116 hours. Now, 23 days and 21 hours, I'm going to multiply 23 days times 24 hours in every day. So 4 times 3 is 12, and this is where I'm going back to my double-digit multiplication. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. Then I'm going to drop a 0, and I've got 2 times 3, which is going to give me 6. 2 times 2 times 2 is 4, so I'm going to have 4, and then I'm going to add the whole thing up. So 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 6 is 15. I'm going to carry the 1, and now I've got 552 hours in 23 days. But I have to add another 21 hours. So 2 plus 1, that's going to be 3. 5 plus 2, that's going to be 7. And then 5 plus nothing is going to be 5. So the total would be 573 hours. And they are going to want you to explain how you got the answer. Now, I'm not going to explain how I got F. I'm going to explain how I got E. I multiplied 23 days times 24 to get 552, and then I added the extra 21 hours to get 573 hours. That's the kind of explanation they would like you to give. And then finally, I'm going to end up with 2 word problems. And these are about the space shuttle. I think they're kind of exciting. So it took the space shuttle 8 minutes and 36 seconds to reach outer space. How many seconds did it take? Well, using my conversion chart, I know that in 1 minute, there are 60 seconds. So in 1 minute, there are 60 seconds. So if I have 8 minutes times 60 seconds, that's going to be equal to 480 seconds. But that doesn't answer the question because I also have this 36 seconds here. So I'm going to add another 36 seconds. And the total answer is it took 516 seconds in order for the space shuttle to reach outer space. Pretty cool. Apollo's 16th mission lasted just over 1 week and 4 days. How many hours are there in 1 week and 4 days? Well, I know that in 1 week, there are 7 days. In 1 week, there are 7 days. And I know that in 1 day, there are 24 hours because I remember from the conversion chart that 1 day is 24 hours. So I'm going to have to times by 24. So 7 times 24 is going to give me 168. So in 1 week, there are 168 hours. But I've got 4 days, so I still got to figure out how many are in 4 days. So there are 24 hours a day, and there are 4 days. So 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 more is 9, so now I've got 96. So I've got 168 hours for the week, and the 4 days is going to be 4 days is going to equal 96 hours. So if I add the hours from the week and the hours from the day, I get 264. And the answer to this question is there are 264 hours in 1 week and 4 days. That's the answer. It's always fun to be a math detective using the conversion charts. Go have fun on your page.